Good evening. I'm Michael Cole.
And I'm Sheree Dixon. Here's what's coming up next on Panthervision.
Presidential visit sparks waves of support for Burke.
But Walker supporters aren't fazed.
The governor is responsible for the people of Wisconsin, not Washington, D.C.
You've heard of fly fishing, but what about fish flying?
And find out why this student is bouncing to class.
All that and more coming up next on Panthervision.
From the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, this is UWM Panthervision. A weekly newscast reported, written, and produced by students in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication. And now, the news.
Good evening. The final push is on.
And the candidates for governor are pulling out all the stops to get your vote. Democratic candidate Mary Burke is hoping a presidential visit will push her supporters to the poll. And incumbent Scott Walker is relying on a statewide bus tour to rally the troops. We have team coverage as the clock ticks down to the big vote. We'll start with Panthervision's Amanda Porter, who covers President visits Obama.
Well, hello, Milwaukee!
An enthusiastic and Democratic crowd welcomed President Barack Obama and Democratic candidate Mary Burke to Milwaukee's North Division High School. Burke spoke on several topics, one directly affecting college students.
From kindergarten all the way through college, I want to invest in our schools, not cut them. And I'm going to make sure that college is affordable for working and middle-class families.
Burke, who also spoke on unemployment rates, tax deductions, and student loans, welcomed President Barack Obama to address the roaring crowd.
Hey, Milwaukee!
Obama had a few choice words on how he thought the Republicans were handling affairs.
They're still part of the family, but you don't want to put them in charge. Right?
And the Democratic crowd agreed. Obama and Burke both share similar ideas on higher education and how to make it more affordable for all college students.
Mary's not running to make even deeper cuts in education here in Wisconsin. She wants to invest in our neighborhood schools and bring down the cost of higher education and make college a reality for all young people.
Austin Keeler, chair of UWM's College Democrats, was also in attendance amongst the energetic
Vote
crowd.
for Mary.
Keeler explains the significance of President Obama's speech.
Getting Obama here was really to excite people because we have a higher Democratic turnout in presidential elections than we do in statewide elections. Just simply because, you hear more about it. It's a little more exciting.
And the message was well heard. Get out and rock the vote November 4th.
And I am telling you, Wisconsin, America's best days are still ahead. I believe it. Mary Burke believes it. Now you have to believe it. Go out there and vote, and go vote for Mary Burke. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America.
In Milwaukee, this is Amanda Porter for Panthervision.
Governor Walker, meanwhile, is trying to use his hometown advantage to drum up votes.
And as I found out, his supporters aren't intimidated by a presidential visit.
With the president coming in town to support Mary Burke, supporters of Scott Walker may be intimidated. But former chairman of Students for Scott Walker, Daniel Pesch, is not worried.
Anybody who comes to campaign for someone in Wisconsin is irrelevant to me. To campaign in Wisconsin, you need people from Wisconsin. Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, neither of them have any idea what it's like to be a citizen and a resident of this state.
Daniel supports Walker due to proposals like his tuition freeze.
He's literally trying to save us money. The rate at which the tuition has been increasing greatly exceeds the rate of inflation for anything else we purchase.
He was the first one to do that in Wisconsin. He did that in his last term, and he wants to do it again.
Sophomore Thomas Doherty believes the tuition freeze will help citizens receive proper employment.
It's great for the whole economy, so more people can get into school, get a better education, and get jobs what they're suited for, not undereducated jobs.
We as a state can't afford to lose Scott Walker as governor.
Regardless of political preference, Thomas still wants everyone to hit the polls on November 4th.
We want people to come out and vote for Scott Walker, but hey, I mean, it's an American right, and you should go out and vote for whoever you think is the best candidate.
While the governor's race is getting the most attention, the elections also include the race for Attorney General, Congress, State Senate, and many others. You can find your polling location by going to wisconsinvote.org. A photo ID is not required to vote.
The search for a new chancellor at UWM is now in phase 2. The Search and Screening Committee interviewed 12 semifinalists and made their recommendations to the Board of Regents.
So at this point, those recommendations are being considered by the Regents Special Committee and by the System President. We will actually have a briefing meeting with them scheduled for the 18th of November, and then after that meeting, they will make their decision on which one of the ones, all or some smaller number, that they will put forward to the public phase of the search.
The Regents are expected to choose up to 5 finalists by November 19th or 20th. The finalists will then be on campus for interviews and public presentations.
UWM's School of Education will soon have a new dean. Alan Soho was chosen for the position last Tuesday. He's currently an Associate Vice Provost at the University of Texas San Antonio. He earned his doctorate in secondary education from Arizona State. Soho will start at UWM on April 1st.
UW's 2-year colleges and extensions have a new chancellor. The Board of Regents has appointed Kathy Sandine to the position starting in December. She replaces Ray Cross, who became the UW system's new president earlier this year. Sandine is currently a vice president at the American Council on Education in Washington.
UWM BOSS, short for Be on the Safe Side, is a van transportation service offered to students around campus. BOSS is supposed to be a safer, more convenient way for students to get to campus at night. But as Panthervision's Dominique Harris finds out, some students are having issues with their services.
During the day, students can pedal or walk to class, but at night, some people feel uneasy about walking alone. UWM has a transportation service called Be on the Safe Side. BOSS gives students rides to their destinations within a 3-mile radius in either direction of campus. This service is great for campus safety, but it has its drawbacks.
I wish they were a little more efficient on their timing.
Sometimes they have me on hold too long and then they don't even show up, so I have to end up walking anyway.
Panthervision tried to get a statement from the BOSS administrators, but they declined to comment and denied us access to interview other BOSS employees. So I had to go undercover to get answers to some of our questions.
Made the boundaries smaller so that we're not driving as far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Kind of sucks for some people, but the majority of people are going within our boundaries, so.
Okay.
BOSS operates from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. with 6 to 10 drivers, depending on how busy they are each night. Some students think their operation is poorly executed at times, and they like to see some changes.
I was on crutches for a few months, and I just wish there was a little bit more room in the cars and maybe a little bit more handicap accessible.
The only change I would think that would be something that they could consider is allowing people with guests, to get either a guest pass or some sort of, ability to have them at least for just a night, because I know a lot of people like showing people around the UWM area.
At UWM, I'm Dominique Harris for Panthervision.
BOSS services are paid through a biannual student segregated fee of $12 per student.
Madison police are investigating a big bike theft mystery. Between 10 and 20 bikes were reported missing from an apartment basement. The discovery was made after a resident reported his $1,200 Cannondale bike was gone. Police are still trying to find the names of people who had bikes stored in the basement. They are saying there was no sign of forced entry.
The search is still on for a man who shot at an off-duty UWM police officer. It happened when the officer witnessed an accident and followed the striking vehicle. The suspect eventually got out of his car and pulled out a handgun. The officer began to flee, but the suspect shot at his vehicle. He was not hurt.
An Oshkosh man is facing charges in connection with a string of robberies and assaults near the UWM Oshkosh campus. The 19-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of robbery, battery, and illegally carrying a concealed weapon. Police say the victim did not require medical attention. Some UWM students are using a mattress to protest sexual assault. It all started with a Columbia University student who carried a mattress to protest her alleged rapist being found not guilty. About a dozen UWM students handed out flyers with the woman's story and chanted in support of sexual assault victims.
2 UW La Crosse employees are filing discrimination complaints against the university. Both complaints involve the hiring of a chancellor's wife. An assistant director in the Office of International Education claims she was improperly passed up for the promotion, and the former director of the office is alleging discrimination and retaliation because he complained about the hiring to Human Resources, the Affirmative Action Office, and the Vice Chancellor. University attorneys deny any discrimination or retaliation. The state is investigating those complaints.
As the cost of college continues to skyrocket, financial aid can be a huge benefit to students. Reporter Maisha Armstrong has the story in tonight's MATC report.
Financial aid is the most common resource used to take care of higher education. There are a lot of students that don't know the difference between a grant and a loan. MATC's Director of Student Financials, Camille Nicolai, deals with these questions every day.
Financial aid consists of grants, which you don't have to pay back as long as you attend classes, loans which you do pay back with interest.
I've been receiving financial aid for 5 years, stopped 2 years after school, and I caught up on my payments. I'm back now, going for electrical engineering, and financial aid has been immensely helpful to me. Without it, I would definitely be struggling to pay for my classes.
After you receive your loan money, there's other procedures to take once you're done with school.
Loans you have to start to repay 6 months after you graduate, leave school, or drop below 6 credits. There's various repayment options, and MATC has contracted with SALT to help you know of all those options and to get you into one of the repayment options that suits your income and suits what will help you the best.
6 month time frame to repay it, I do feel is enough time, given that I was able to catch up on my payments prior to this.
If you're planning on applying for financial aid for the spring 2015 semester, it's not too late. Visit www.fafsa.gov. And I'm Maisha Armstrong for Panthervision.
The last day to file for financial aid is at the end of each academic year. Coming up, a threat to the Great Lakes. What species might be invading Lake Michigan?
Plus, how changes to an iconic building in Milwaukee could help area college students.
All that and more when Panthervision continues.
This is where powerful ideas lead to proven results. This is where you belong.
You ready again?
Let's go do this.
At MATC, we award lots of degrees, but not everyone makes it to our big ceremony.
Samantha, I own lamb.
Thanks to the hands-on training they receive from industry experts, many of our grads are already hard at work. But that's okay. They end up with something even more rewarding than a diploma. A career. MATC. redefine smart.
Our fugitive has been on the run for 90 minutes. Average foot speed over uneven terrain, barring any injuries, is 4 miles per hour. What I need from each and every one of you is a full target search of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, and doghouse in that area. Your fugitive has just cashed in his 401k plan, and all he had to do was roll it over.
Learn about rollovers and protecting your financial future, and choose to save.
You can't mess with a big dog.
Thanks for watching UWM Panthervision, judged Best Student Newscast by the Northwest Broadcast News Association. Panthervision is produced by students in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication in association with Milwaukee Area Technical College.
An invasive species is splashing its way up the Mississippi River and now may be in Lake Michigan.
As Panthervision's Andrew McCann reports, millions have already been spent to stop the spread of an acrobatic fish.
Many biologists are afraid Lake Michigan may soon be the next target in a foreign invasion. The invaders are big, they are hungry, and they attack without mercy. They are the Asian carp. A water sample taken from the Fox River in Green Bay last Tuesday tested positive for carp DNA. Many biologists are worried if they find their way into Lake Michigan, they may take over. Dr. John Jansen of the UWM School of Freshwater Sciences isn't so sure.
The people that are making noise about Asian carp are people who work on the rivers where Asian carp are actually a problem. Those people have no experience on the Great Lakes.
The Asian carp is a big river fish. It spawns in moving water and feeds on organic plant matter. Because of invasive mussels, there's precious little of this in Lake Michigan.
There's some debate as to how well it will do in the Great Lakes because of the dry-scented mussels. Dry-scented mussels are such good filter feeders that they're actually filtering out all the food that's in the water column.
Researchers say it isn't Asian carp we should be worrying about. It's the invasive species that are already here.
The Asian carp is a threat, but on the scale of 1 to 10, it's probably pretty low. It's kind of the poster child right now for invasive species or new invasive species in the Great Lakes.
Officials are taking the threat seriously, though. The Army Corps of Engineers recently proposed a series of long-term solutions to Congress. The most expensive would cost up to $18 billion. In Milwaukee, I'm Andrew McCann for Panthervision.
Illinois has taken several steps to contain the carp. That includes a series of electrical barriers built in the Chicago Canal to block the fish from getting into Lake Michigan. The Illinois DNR also hires commercial fishermen to catch them.
An urgent cause brings UWM's Institute of World Affairs and Community Partners together. The Institute is holding a supply drive to help combat the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. There are donation boxes in Garland Hall and several Pick and Save grocery stores. The supplies needed include bleach, hand sanitizer, masks, gloves, and other products. They are also collecting money for shipping and storage.
A Milwaukee college is being sued. The State Justice Department claims Everest College misled students by falsely promising a job placement rate of 80 to 90%. The for-profit Everest closed abruptly in 2013. The lawsuit claims that Corinthian colleges, which owned Everest, misled students into taking unaffordable loans by making the false promises.
There could be a new life coming to the former Pabst bottling house, and that might help students. A new proposal will convert the building into housing for university students and an extended stay hotel. There could be up to 150 units. Each would have 2 to 4 bedrooms for students and Milwaukee area universities marketed towards international students. The proposal still needs approval from the city. It goes before the Plan Commission next week.
With the downtown MATC library under construction, students need to find a new place to study. MATC's Jacob Wolf reports on where they can go for now.
MATC is currently building a new library for its students,
but for the meantime, they have to use a temporary library located in the S building right next to the cafeteria. I interviewed Peggy LaSalle to find out the effects this has had on the library and its students.
The students have not been able to access the books as readily. So at this point, what we have to do is we have to actually have them requested online, and then we go get the books. So we can usually get the books relatively fast, but there is a time lag for that.
I also asked how excited the staff and students were for the new library coming out at the end of this semester.
So the library is really excited about their new space that we have coming. It's been difficult for the students because of the limited availability of computers and the volume of the space at times. Actually, the temperature's also been somewhat of an issue, but we do know that once the area is done, which we're hoping by the end of the semester, we will have a beautiful new space that will draw lots of people in.
The students and staff can't wait to get their library. If there are no stalls, hopefully it'll be done by the end of this semester.
The downtown library is scheduled to be reopened later this month. Strong winds churned up some big waves on Lake Michigan Friday afternoon.
Take a look at this. Huge waves up to 10 feet tall rocked the shoreline. The spectacle was caused by a low-pressure system that was sitting offshore. It also brought along some light flurries. Wind gusts of 35 to 45 miles per hour were reported. Amanda Porter joins us with a look at our weather.
How's it going, you guys? How's the weekend been?
Not too bad.
Good. The weather was a little chilly for me, but I really enjoyed the sunlight.
Yeah, Friday was those big winds coming in. Is there going to be something like that this week?
Very cold. This week will be a little bit more consistent with temperatures saying 50 to 60 degrees. Today will be mostly cloudy with a light breeze blowing in our way, and tonight we should expect a chance for thunder showers. Current conditions today are a temperature of 42 degrees high with a dew point of 27. You should also expect a bar pressure of 30.5. Tonight's forecast will be 58 degrees high with a low of 42. There's also a 0% chance for precipitation, so you can leave your umbrella at home. Looking at state temperatures, going to Rhinelander, we're at 38 degrees low. Moving down to Eau Claire, it's 40 degrees. Going down to La Crosse, it's 47 degree low. Down in Madison, it's 44 degrees low. And in Milwaukee, we're at 45 degree all-time low. For the state's temperatures high will be at 47 degrees in Rhinelander. Going down to Eau Claire, it's 55. Down in La Crosse, we're going to be at 57 degrees high for tonight. And down in Madison, we're at 55. Here in Milwaukee, we're going to be at an all-time high of 57 degrees. The forecast for tomorrow will be light showers throughout the night. There will also be 48 degree low with winds of southwest blowing in at 17 miles per hour. November 4th will be mostly cloudy with light rain. There will be a high of 55 and a low of 38 degrees. You should also expect wind to be at 15 miles per hour. The forecast for November will be, the extended forecast will be 44 degrees high on Thursday and 42 degrees high on Friday with the 42 of Saturday of 42 and a Sunday of high of 40. So you guys, bundle up this weekend. It's going to be a little bit chilly, but not too cold.
Yeah, looks like we won't have to break out our winter coats just yet.
Not just yet.
Thanks, Amanda.
No problem.
Coming up, we'll give you a sneak peek inside the new UW Milwaukee Panther Arena.
And finding parking on campus may be a difficult task. See how one student avoids the hassle altogether in style.
All that and more when Panthervision continues.
Minds can achieve anything. We make sure they get to college. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds to make college possible for anyone with the mind to get there. Because if given the chance, minds will do great things. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
Thanks for watching UWM Panthervision, judged Best Student Newscast by the Northwest Broadcast News Association. Panthervision is produced by students in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication in association with Milwaukee Area Technical College.
A big week for the men's basketball team as their home court gets a makeover.
Cole Stevenson joins us now for a look at sports. Cole?
Thanks, guys. The Panthers don't play inside the newly renovated UW-Milwaukee Panther Arena until Thursday. But this past week, fans got a sneak peek of the changes. 3,400 of the 10,000 seats are now black and gold. A new high-definition scoreboard was also installed to display Panther pride. Thursday's home game will be against UW-Platteville. Both the men's and women's cross-country teams traveled to UW-Platteville on Saturday to compete for the Horizon League Championships. Sophomore Lee Holmes earned first-team All-Horizon honors, and senior Annette Lemansky was named second-team All-League for the women. Senior Marcus Paulson became the first Panther to win an individual men's cross-country title in 20 years. Speaking of cross-country, you may think you've been seeing double while watching the women's team during practice. Panthervision's Maurice Childs explains why there's nothing wrong with your vision.
At 7 in the morning, when most students are asleep, the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee cross-country team is up and running. Head coach Peter Corfield says some of his recruits from northern Wisconsin are showing promise.
Oftentimes, the runners from up north have what I would call more upside. They have, more potential.
Hailing from Wabeno, Wisconsin, sophomore Megan Tarleton is one of those recruits.
I made it to state 4 years for high school for cross country and 2 years for track. And I don't know, I've always pushed myself to work really hard, and it paid off.
Megan isn't the only member of her family who competed at the state championships in high school running for UWM.
Well, we almost do everything together. We were really, really close in high school.
This season is one of the rare occasions where Megan and her twin sister Miranda are training separately.
I've had injuries on and off last year, but this is my first injury that took me out for a while.
Even if they can't run together, their common career goals in criminal justice keep them together outside of athletics. Although they are very much alike, one of the few things that set these two apart:
I eat onions and she eats green beans.
In Milwaukee, I'm Maurice Childs for Panthervision.
Another award for UWM men's soccer player Lori Bell. He becomes the only student athlete in UWM history to be named the Capital One Academic All-District Soccer Team 3 years in a row. He carries a 3.7 GPA. And that's it for sports. Back to you, Michael and Sheree.
Have you noticed fewer young people on the road?
More millennials in big cities are choosing different ways of getting to where they need to be.
And as Panthervision's Lori Bell found out, UWM students are finding all sorts of ways to get to campus.
I actually fell and hit my shoulder and my head just right on the concrete.
Plenty of odd looks.
They'll say, where's the other wheel, or did you get that bike half off?
And just one wheel. This is how UWM students are getting around.
Unicycling is one of the primary methods that I use because I can just unicycle to whatever bus is coming and hop on a bus and take it on the bus with me.
Well, maybe that's just Corey. Since moving to Milwaukee, he's shunned his motor for a unicycle.
If you live in a city, you're living here because everything's close by, so, you know, why have a car?
Other students are ditching their bangers for bikes and bus passes too. Transportation experts understand why.
Well, driving is versatile, you know, you can come and go as you please, but parking is very difficult in certain areas, and driving a car is very expensive. You add up insurance and fuel costs.
And if you have alternative transportation, why not use it? Corey says it's not always ideal.
You can take a bus almost anywhere in the city, but at the same time it's unreliable. You've got to wait 8 minutes early and be ready to have the bus come 8 minutes late.
But like a lot of college students, Corey's happy with life without four wheels.
You're biking more often, you're walking more often, you're getting outside, you're talking to more people, and it's, I think cars kind of limit and restrict you from accessing other parts of like culture.
In Milwaukee, I'm Laurie Bell for Panthervision.
For those in need of alternative transportation, Bubbler Bikes has 10 locations across the city. Bubbler passes cost up to $35 for a year with additional charges for trips over 30 minutes. Thank you for tuning in for tonight's edition of Panthervision.
You can watch us on Time Warner Channel 14 and AT&T UVerse Channel 99 at 5:30 on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and again at 10:30 on Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Have a great week.